The world is about to make a dramatic shift into a financial revolution. Now, this revolution is going to change everything about your lifestyle and remove any and all privacy that you have. Not only that, but your money will now be in the hands of one governing body, a body which can potentially dictate how you spend your money, when you spend your money, and who's allowed to spend it. Now, before I get into this report, just a quick break. Check this out. Studies now reveal that our appearance directly affects our mental health. In fact, many anti-aging supplements found on the store shelves try to capitalize on that. And most of them fall short. That's because they fail to get to the root of the problem. These products typically try to hide wrinkles, but this is only temporary. The alternative is a solution that goes underneath the surface of the skin in order to promote skin elasticity and, of course, its overall appearance. It goes by the name BioTrust at healthwithlisa.com. This collagen quickly restores the youthfulness to your skin. It even helps to combat wrinkles, and it does so better than anything I've ever tried. But get this, the reason that this product is so good at reducing the wrinkles in your skin is because it literally supercharges your collagen intake. Collagen is the main ingredient in this product, and it's the very reason why it works so well. It gets to the source of the problem that causes wrinkles. Collagen is the #1 protein in our skin, and it is exactly what is needed to promote elasticity and a more youthful appearance. Imagine how good your skin can look by this summer by simply using this product. If you have been looking for a way to look and feel good, then get to healthwithlisa.com today. Right now, in fact, they have a very amazing offer of up to 51% off their product. Not only that, but they also have a 60-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not happy for any reason, you can send it back for that refund. Not only that, but there's free shipping, free coaching, and a free new e-report, 14 foods for amazing skin. Get it today by going to healthwithlisa.com and take advantage of that more youthful appearance. Want more information? It's found in the description box below. All right, back to the broadcast. So just what is this dramatic shift, and what of this financial revolution? Well, in this video clip you're about to see, it comes from the 2022 Government Summit. And in this clip, Pippa Milgram, a top American economist who served as a special advisor to former President George W. Bush, who I don't particularly care for, well, she has come on the stage and made it very clear that a financial revolution is coming, and coming in the style of digital currency. Take a listen.
What we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new accounting is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. It also raises huge dangers in terms of the balance of power between states and citizens. In my opinion, we're going to need a digital constitution of human rights if we're going to have digital money. But also, this new money will be sovereign in nature. Most people think that digital money is crypto and private, but what I see are superpowers introducing digital currency. The Chinese were the first. The US is on the brink, I think, of moving in the same direction. The Europeans have committed to that as well. And the question is, will that new system of digital money and digital accounting accommodate the competing needs of the citizens of all these locations so that every human being has a chance to have a better life? Because that's the only measure of whether a world order really serves.
World order. There's that word yet again. She makes it very clear that one of the parts of the world order, or one of the key measurements, is having this new financial system. What exactly, though, is she talking about and referencing when she's talking about digital currency? Well, she's talking about central bank digital currency. And to put it very simply, they control everything. They will know every single transaction you ever make, and they have complete control over for your money. They will be able to program it so you can only make certain transactions and in certain places. This is exactly what this kind of system can allow for. Now, here's one example of what I'm talking about. An example of that would be if you went to a store and you wanted to buy ammo or guns or anything like that, and then you get this notification, you've already bought your limit or too many guns or too many ammos, therefore they can easily cut you off. This is the kind of power that they would have with such system. This is why she mentioned something known as a digital constitution of human rights, because she knows governments of the world can very easily violate the rights and human rights of the average person. So she has to mention a digital constitution of human rights. But the problem I have with that is the US government and other governments of the world don't even care or uphold the regular constitution or Bill of Rights that we have here in the US. So basically what this becomes is the government governing themselves. How exactly does that work? Because if it really worked the way it was supposed to, we wouldn't have all this massive spying going on the American people and the constant usurp of our constitutional rights, like we saw with all these COVID mandates and measures and vaccine mandates, all cross the line of our constitutional rights. So the average person on this system really has no benefit because all their privacy is now government controlled. And this so-called digital Bill of Rights, if they even attempt to create it, it's just superficial. It's just their way of saying, look, we're going to do you right. However, they're going to trample on it just like they've done always. And by the way, this sounds very eerily similar to what the Bible talks about when it talks about the mark of the beast in the coming days. This could obviously lead in that direction. But with that, let's dive into a little bit on exactly what is central bank digital currency, because I found a great article on it and I thought I wanted to bring this on. And this was on Zero Hedge. Unbeknown to most, a financial revolution is coming that threatens to change everything and not for the better. And here's what it actually states. And these are some real good statistics to keep in the back of your head, because if it is this powerful and already prominent in society, why isn't it the leading discussion on mainstream media, which we obviously know isn't going to touch on it because they're just going to, hey, this is what we're going to one day. But if it's really this big, why isn't everyone talking about it? And that's a good question. But here's what it says. Around 90 central banks are either in the process of experimenting with or are already piloting central bank digital currencies. In a world of just over 190 countries, that is a large continent. But given they include the European Central Bank, which alone represents 19 euro area economies, the actual number of economies involved is well over 100. They include all G20 economies and together represent more than 90% of the global GDP. 3 CBDCs, that's your central bank digital currencies, have already gone fully live in the past 2 years. The so-called Dcash in the Eastern Caribbean and the Sand Dollar in the Bahamas and the Inarari in Nigeria. Now, the article goes on to state a couple more things and answers the question, well, what exactly are these central bank digital currencies and how will they work? What purpose do they serve? How are they going to affect populations? These are all questions that we need to ask. Now, here is the response from Just Say No to CBDs in this article here. And here's what they say there. You might assume that you are already using digital currency regularly if you rarely use physical cash anymore and instead buy almost everything with a credit card or digital payment app. In truth, the process of moving money from A to B is more complicated than that, right? It involves tangible of payment processors, banks, financial clearinghouses, and if your money crosses borders, then you have international communication and exchange systems such as SWIFT, right? The money itself doesn't move around fast, so each institution must assume risk to fulfill your transaction by accepting promises, sending transfers, verifying receipts, and so on and so forth. And a lot of fees get collected. Well, in a CBDC system, that's your central bank digital currency, it would be radically simplified. A customer would open an account directly with a country's central bank, and the central bank would issue or create digital money in the account. Crucially, this makes the money a direct liability of the Fed rather than of private banks. So basically, we have one big system controlling all your money, controlling all of your money. Now, no promises or trust are necessary. Every transaction is permanently forever recorded on a digital cryptograph ledger in real time. A bit like Bitcoin, but exquisitely centralized rather than distributed. So think about that. They have complete access, one big Fed controlling it all, no longer, having to go through the banks, and everything is recorded forever. Amen. So how could this impact your lives? Well, it goes on to answer exactly how it can impact your life in that same article. It says there's 4 different ways in which it can impact your life. And here's what it says. And this is one of the terrifying ones. It will grant central banks far more power over our own payment behavior. A central bank digital currency system will technically no longer require a middleman. Banks, card companies. One can safely assume that the largest financial institution, right, most which have been helping to install the architecture of this system, they're going to find a new role. But here's what N.S. Lyons writes. He says central banks will retain complete oversight and control over the creation, the destruction, and movement of money, no matter where it is held or who has it. That's very powerful. One big organization that controls all of that, the movement of money, who has it, when they have it, right? This is not something we want here in the United States of America. Here we also have this. The second thing, right, that one of the most important ways that it's going to impact your life, the power could be used to program our spending. And it goes on to say this, the Fed, and this is just an example of how they could program our spending. The Fed could directly subtract taxes and fees from any account in real time with every transaction or paycheck if they wish. Now, they automatically could deduct it. There could be no more tax evasion. The Fed would have a complete record of every transaction made by everyone. Money laundering, terrorist financing, and other unapproved transaction would become extremely difficult, which fine. Okay, obviously we don't want to be doing that. However, fines such as for speeding or jaywalking could be levied in real time. And if CBDC accounts were connected to a network of smart city surveillance, nor would there be any need to mail out stimulus checks, tax refunds, or other benefits such as UBI. Such money could just be deposited directly into your account. But a CBD would allow governments to operate at much higher resolution than that if it wished. They could have targeted microfinance grants added straight to the account of those people and businesses considered especially deserving and would be relatively simple pre-positioned. And here's the other thing I'm going to add to that particular point. They could also stop payments to certain people. If they don't like what you're doing politically, or you held or attended a rally that they don't agree with, let's just cut off your finances. So, stop that payment so you can't do this or you can't do that. Or they don't like what you're doing online, you can get a spank of a hand. I mean, there's so many ways that this couldn't be, that so many of our freedom lines can be crossed. And like I said, I have no faith whatsoever in a, digital Constitution Bill of Rights, because they've already shown that they poop on that kind of thing, right? But here's another way in which it can impact our lives. There could be no limit on negative interest rates. That's another one. I'm not going to expand on that one. And financial exclusion on steroids. This is another way in which it can impact us. It says one of the most important benefits of cash is its universality, making it a vital public good, particularly for the poorest and most vulnerable in society. Also excluded in a purely cashless society would be anyone who objected to having others spy on their transactions. So basically, in this scenario, the rich could get richer by taking advantage of new investments. Not only that, but if you don't want your privacy or freedoms invaded and say you want nothing to do with this system, well, then you're completely excluded from society, right? We have to be careful with things like this. And this could really expand the power of totalitarian power beyond a level that we have never seen. This is why PIPA, right, in the video clip you saw, is all supportive of this, and they want this. And this is part of the Great Reset agenda. Klaus Schwab talks about it. You'll own nothing and be happy. In other words, it all falls under the banner of one currency controlled by them. This is exactly where they're saying that we're headed. This is exactly where the Bible says that we are headed. We all know about the mark of the beast. You can't buy, sell, or trade without it in the latter days. And this this is exactly the direction that we are going in. Anyhow, I wanted to bring you all that information. I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.